Hello and welcome to this episode of Career Paths for Enterprise Unplugged. I'm Laura Burrell and today I'm going to be talking to, a lady that needs no introduction, but the format does mean that I need to give her one. It's Power Business Unit Manager Becky Slade.
Hello.
Hello. We're calling you Rebecca, so I'm going to call you Bex as I usually do. How are you?
Bex is much more preferable.
Excellent.
Yes, I'm good, thank you.
It's only ever Rebecca when you're in trouble.
Rebecca when I'm in trouble.
Excellent. So, for me, this isn't a normal podcast. I've interviewed a couple of people before, but the stakes are slightly higher for me because, for anyone that doesn't know, you are my boss.
I am.
But
thankfully we did your performance review this morning.
We did my performance review this morning. Had it been the other way around, the stakes could have been through the roof on this for me.
Absolutely.
But so the purpose of our Career Paths episodes is to get an idea of what people's careers looked like before they came to Exertis Enterprise and their progression through the company as well. So let's take you back to Becky, straight out of college and university. What was the first job for you?
So I was living in Plymouth at the time. Career opportunities were not quite what they are up here. But I started working at Toshiba Air Conditioning's manufacturing plant in their spare parts department as an admin assistant. And I was there for about 3 years. I did procurement, I did order management, logistics, a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. But it was mainly because I wanted to stay by the beach as long as was humanly possible.
Tech opportunities by the beach, I don't imagine, are
not
abundant,
huge, no. Eventually my father interjected and pointed out that perhaps I might like to move back up to Surrey and, as he put it, earn some money rather than spending my time surfing. So I moved back to Guildford and I started working at Dakin.
Is that air conditioning as well?
Air conditioning. And I became a sales design engineer. Mm-hmm. So I started to design large systems for hotels, hospitals, all of that types of projects in London. I was there for about another 3 years and then I moved to Mitsubishi. And then the great 2009, that's showing my age, credit crunch. I love that they called it a credit crunch.
Sounds like a chocolate bar rather than a financial disaster.
Rather than a complete financial crisis. Yeah, have a credit crunch. So in 2009, the construction market really took a tumble. And I started talks with Schneider Electric about my air conditioning background and how we could transpose that to data centre cooling.
Okay.
So fast forward a little bit, I ended up at Schneider in their internal sales team, working with some of their larger enterprise accounts, for example, Google, HSBC, Microsoft, some of their big hosting clients as well. And it progressed from there. I started just looking after the internals for the enterprise sales team. Then I took on some more responsibility with the large VARs and mid-market team. And with that actually crossed over into distribution as well because we didn't deal with those customers directly. So I got chatting with what was Micro P many years ago.
And other distributors, I imagine, as well.
And a couple of other distributors too. And then Micro P, it sort of accelerated and we got into conversation about me coming and joining their team as a product manager.
Just to take it back a little bit, so you started sort of with Toshiba and sort of the air conditioning, sort of like ran through sort of before you then changed up to cooling slightly for Schneider Electric. What sort of drew you to those sort of early technical roles, and especially with the design stuff that you did?
It was interesting. It was something I didn't really know how to do, so it was really exciting to learn something new. But it was the challenges around every project. So there was a hotel in London where you couldn't show any of the air conditioning systems, so you had to hide them around the building.
Right, so you got to be a bit creative with it.
You really had to think outside the box with it, and I really liked that aspect of it.
Okay.
And I've always actually enjoyed puzzling through the technical aspects of the roles and well, you fake it till you make it, and then you make it.
Exactly, and you make it, and before you know it, you're doing it.
There you go.
And then you transfer that knowledge on air conditioning over to Schneider Electric, working with cooling in data centres.
Yeah, well, that was how I pitched it. That wasn't really what turned out, and then I had to learn an awful lot of products and technology very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I was so lucky because there were some wonderful people at Schneider that really supported and educated. And I mean, you've experienced it with that brand as well. And they've been dear friends for many years now. And I still see them, and they're absolutely lovely. But yeah, it was one of those scenarios where I didn't know what I was looking at, and it was just muddling through for a while.
A great education in sort of the data centre products set, though, I imagine, because their portfolio is quite broad, and it would have put you in very good stead for the job at what was then Micro P, Exertis, then Exertis Enterprise.
Yes, several changes.
Names.
Several changes in that time.
A few names, and you're still here.
Yeah, I haven't changed my name, so that's good.
Yes. So, when you started with what was Micro P at the time, what did your role look like?
So I started as a product manager in, I think it was 2014.
Okay.
Again, age, and it was very much I was coming in to cut my teeth on some small brands. It was nothing to do with Schneider or APC or any of the remit that I have now. It was meant to be some smaller brands where I could learn how to be an effective product manager for them. Within 3 weeks, I got handed APC, which was one of the top 20 brands in the company. So it was a little bit of a baptism of fire, if I'm quite honest. It sounds
it. Straight in at the deep end. Here you go. Crack on.
Yes, very much so. But it was great, actually, because one of the really good things was that I had the support network at Micro P, but then I also had the support network at Schneider Electric, APC, as well, which was great because everyone was in my corner to do the right things and do a really good job about it. So I was really, really lucky with that support that I received.
Awesome. And coming from a vendor, obviously you would have been dealing with distributors, you would have been dealing with Micro P, Exertis at the time. What drew you to working at what was then Micro P?
I think for me it was interesting because the different distributors brought very different characteristics with them. Micro P was always one where you didn't have to have too much touch on a project.
Okay.
Because of the technical expertise of the sales team, you could hand off an opportunity, you could hand off a project, and you really wouldn't have to get too further involved with it. They just guided it through, quick, nimble, agile, all of the good things that you want from a distribution partner.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, with a couple of other distributors and partners, it was a little bit more hard work to get those things over the line. So Micro P was always, they were always tenacious, they were always on the phone, I mean, if you knew how many times throughout the course of the day I'd get such and such from Micro P calling up in the office, the phone wouldn't stop ringing. And it was always really nice to see that tenacity and that desire to succeed. So when it came to sort of looking at the landscape of it, I could see more success within this company than perhaps other opportunities.
And I think they've probably only developed that. Now, as Exertis Enterprise, we've still got that technical offering, a solution provider. You've got the people with the specialist knowledge.
It is, and there's the agility, there's the ability. We've got our own warehouse, we've got our real autonomy over the business to be able to go out and make those plays in the market that perhaps others can't, which I think is really cool as well.
Yeah, makes us slightly different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we've done a chat about your sort of start at Micro P, Exertis, now Exertis Enterprise. So you started as a product manager. How did your career through the company go to where you are now?
Okay, so I started as a product manager. I think I did that for about maybe 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. There was a bit of a restructure within the division, and we became a small enterprise division, and they changed the remit of my role so that I was purely looking after power and infrastructure brands. So everything from UPS, racking, cooling, power distribution, exciting things like cable management, but very integral. And that sort of developed into a role as the business manager for power and cooling. I did that for a few years as well, so there's probably another 3 on that one. I'm trying to think of my LinkedIn at the moment.
Then moved into this role. This role. You should have revised before.
I should have done. I didn't do my crib notes for it. And so then I moved into a commercial manager role. Started with a small team working for me of some product managers and product specialists. And then the latest move has been to business unit manager for infrastructure within the data centre division.
Fantastic.
And I get to work with lovely people like you.
Oh, well, you have to say that. We're on camera.
Absolutely. I mean it.
I mean it, I promise.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll take a little bit of break from, I'm going to say the serious stuff, although I'd like to think we've had fun. But, and we have a little middle section where we get to know you a little bit better. I know you quite well. I've worked for you for 2 years. But for anybody that doesn't, if you could have 3 people, alive or dead, at a dinner party, who would it be?
Okay. Well, obviously, Stephen Fry.
I was about to say, if you'd not said him first.
Yeah, no, I know. You'd be thoroughly disappointed with me.
Yes.
Second one. Who would be the second one? I know what the third one is, and it's a little bit of a softy one.
Okay.
But second one, I quite like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think
she'd be good.
Oh my goodness, that woman was just a powerhouse. She really was. And then the third one would be my mother.
Oh.
Because I got very little time with her, and it would be lovely to spend the evening chatting with her and dancing around the kitchen.
I mean, if anything, Ruth and Stephen very much getting in the way there.
Very much so, yeah.
Really,
it would be a bit awkward. We'd probably just pop off into the living room for a nice chat.
That's fine. just let Stephen Fry and Ruth Bader Ginsburg just
I think
chat.
they get on very well.
They probably
so
would.
It's fine.
They probably would.
I've set up a very nice selection of people there.
Yes, you have. I mean, you've got the intelligence, the humour.
And my mum.
Yeah. Fantastic. It sounds like a lovely dinner party.
There you go.
So we'll do another one.
Go on
Work, as much as you love the challenges of working in commercial, work can be stressful sometimes. What do you do at the end of a week to relax? What does a good weekend look like for you?
A good weekend out with the Buggerlugs.
Buggerlugs, for those at home, her dog, Barkley. Shout out to Barkley if you're watching.
Barkley Buggerlugs.
Yes.
Out with Barks, big old walks, the pub, obviously. Down to the beach if I can get away for a weekend, down to Devon or somewhere.
Escape to go surfing again.
Escape to go surfing, swimming, paddle boarding, somewhere where there's no phone signal, always handy.
Yes, nice to get the phone in the bag.
And then other things like cooking. I even dabbled in pottery at one point. That was messy.
Yes, I can imagine.
But yeah, loads of different things. The theatre, just whatever I can do.
Whatever you can. Lovely stuff.
Switch off.
Switch off completely. Always good.
With wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
A big bucket of Malbec, if
Absolutely.
possible. Well, now I feel we've got to know you a little better. Let's get back to your career chat. So you've been with Exertis for 10 years now?
Yeah, 10, nearly 11 now.
What would you say have been your biggest challenges in those years here?
There's been, varying challenges over the course of my time here. I think we've had a lot of change within the business. You alluded to it purely from the number of name changes we've gone through as a company since I've been here. I think any change can be presented as a challenge or an opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. Certainly we've had some more challenging changes over time, but it's about how you face those and how you try and bounce back from them. I think my boss called me the queen of bounce back ability at one point when we were going through some very tough challenges with the new warehouse and systems. So I would probably say there's been, I couldn't pinpoint one where I sort of went, I can't possibly get over this.
Yeah.
But certainly every day delivers a challenge, doesn't it? Whether it's your personal life or your work life. Very true,
very true. So on the flip side of that, to turn it into a little bit more of a positive, what would you say you've been most proud of what you've achieved over the last 10 plus years?
I think it's building a stable, functional business and then continuously improving that. Mm-hmm. So, I inherited the business. It was great. There was a really good grounding to it. It was strong brands, all of these types of things. But then just tweaking and improving things along the way to make us more relevant to the vendors, to be able to bring new propositions to the table that say, we want to do something a little bit different now. We're not your standard broadliner. We want to take you to the next level. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that I really enjoy. I've been very lucky in that throughout the course of my career, I was nominated for the Women in the Channel Awards a few times, which is very flattering. Mm. I think I won the Commercial Person of the Year award as well, which I was, again, it's very flattering because you come and you do a job. Yeah. It's not, you're not looking for that level of recognition, but it's lovely to receive. Yeah. So I think, when you work in a company where there is that level of recognition, actually it G's you on even further to try and succeed more. Yeah.
It gives you that extra little boost.
Yeah.
I mean, I now am regretting not using award-winning Rebecca Slade in your introduction.
You know what? What I could have done is just put a little fake Oscar. And put it on the table or something like that.
Here's the award. Just make sure that they're in shot. Yeah.
Me and my BAFTA.
Absolutely. So you say you've been nominated for sort of, Women in the Channel Award. You've won a Commercial Person of the Year award. As a woman sort of working in what is, let's face it, quite a male-dominated industry, how has that presented any sort of additional challenges to you in your career, not just with Exertis, Enterprise, Micro-P, but in the tech industry in general?
Yeah, I think it's difficult because I think my career landscape has always been incredibly male orientated. If you look at where I came from air conditioning, so then move into the data center space, then into IT distribution as well. It's always been a very male-orientated environment. What I've loved to see, and I mean, I should caveat this by saying, unfortunately, I was never brought up in a way to be told that, you're a woman, therefore you must do this, 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 and this. And my father was very much a staunch advocate of, you will be a captain of industry, off you go. So I've disappointed him massively. But one thing I would say, and one thing I've really loved to see, especially probably over the last 5 to 7 years, is the cultural shift within the IT channel. It's really interesting to see the scope and the growth of opportunities for women within the marketplace now. Yeah. And I'm really excited about that for younger women coming into the industry and really making a name for themselves.
Yeah, it's good, and it's the stuff that Exertis and Exertis Enterprise have been doing to sort of support and champion women within our industry as well. I've only been here for a couple of years now, but no, it's really great to see that sort of it's been recognised what we can bring to the industry. And,
absolutely.
Championing girl power. Is this where we start breaking into a Spice Girls song?
Diversity isn't just about sex and age and sexuality. It's about diversity of thought, and a woman's voice in a room can bring a very different take on things. So exactly that to me is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been with us for 10 plus years. We spoke a little bit about the role and working in commercial being so different every day, the challenges. What else has kept you here for 10 years?
Someone glued me to a chair.
That's no. A lot can be said for Gorilla Glue.
There you go. Strong stuff. No, I think for me it's the people. I've worked with some amazing people here. I've had amazing vendors. I've still got amazing vendors I work with. Great teams. long-lasting friendships and relationships across the business. It was funny. I was walking through the corridor earlier. I was just nipping out to pop to the car, and I think I was stopped by about 6 people going, "Oh, hi Bex, how are you?" And it's lovely because you've built those relationships, and there's still people that have left that I still chat with on a almost weekly basis. And it is the people, it's the camaraderie, friendship, and just generally it is fun.
We have a laugh.
We do have a giggle.
Yeah. I mean, I can vouch for that as well. It's just the people here, they, as well as the work and the challenges, they keep your days interesting, don't they?
Absolutely. And if you can go home every day and know that you've had a laugh at some point, then you've had a good day.
That's very true. And I think a very good note to end on. So thank you very much for chatting with me today, Bex.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for watching. Join us next time on our episode of Exertis Enterprise Unplugged for another career path. Who knows who we'll be speaking to next? We'll see you next time.